Alright you guys, welcome back to today's video. I'm very excited for this one. It is going to be a very chaotic blush, swatching, and declutter. I really had no rhyme or reason going into filming this video other than I wanted to swatch a bunch of my blushes next to one another to see how similar some of them really were and see what I could declutter from my collection. It's not going to be like the biggest declutter of all time, and I will be honest, like going into this, it is very chaotic. Like there's truly no rhyme or reason. It's like, ooh, there's a bird, ooh, there's a blush, I want to swatch this blush next to this. So if you are not into like chaotic energy, maybe this is not the swatch slash declutter video for you, but today we're gonna be swatching and decluttering some of the blushes and face palettes in my collection. So if that is something that sounds interesting to you, I hope that you will stay tuned. First, if you have yet to subscribe to my channel and you like project panning content or just chit-chatting about makeup, I'd love if you'd consider subscribing before moving on. And other than that, let's jump into this very chaotic blush swatch party and declutter. Okay, I thought I was recording, but then I wasn't. I started by showing my entire blush collection and then told you guys we're gonna start with my cream blushes. So I separated them out. I believe this is all of the cream blushes currently in my collection, but would not be surprised if something is somehow missing out of this. So I'm gonna zoom in just a little bit more maybe. And I'm gonna try and sort these by like shade, color story, I guess. So like peaches, and like I know that this is like a bright orange, but kind of like that sort of shade family. That's more of like a pinky, but this also is, so we'll do that. This is more of like a red. Petal Poppin', none of these are, okay. That's more pink. This is like definitely, that's definitely more muted. That's kind of a bright pink. Maybe we'll include that. This will be like brights and peachy pinks. Okay, that's not. Then this is, I guess we, well, do I want to include, how do I want to separate? No, I'm going to set that aside. And this is definitely more neutral. So that's, and that's more pink. This is more like a, okay, what am I doing? Okay, we're gonna start with all of these. That doesn't go with it. We're gonna start with my peaches slash corals slash like bright corals, which is these right here. Of all of these, really the only thing I can see myself potentially decluttering would be the Super Dewy Liquid Blush. But I do want to just swatch everything out. And I'm going to switch sides so that I can swatch on my non-tattooed. Okay, switch the side that I was standing on so I can swatch on my non-tattooed arm. And actually, now that I say that, I'm like literally doing things on my hand. But I'm just going to swatch some of these out. Oops. Ooh, that's brighter than I remember. Okay. Okay, so we have the Flower Beauty Blush Balm in the shade Nectar right here. I have Glossier Beam, the Cloud Paint in the shade Beam in the middle. And then I also have the Revolution Super Dewy Liquid Blush on the end. So let's see how all of these compare. Ooh, actually Nectar is not what I remember. I haven't reached for Nectar in a while, but I actually really do enjoy how the Makeup Revolution swatched, because that's like kind of right up my alley in terms of what I'm looking for in a blush. Right now, I'm not going to declutter Glossier Beam just because I'm currently working on that in a separate project. Nectar, I don't love actually as much as I thought. Give me one moment. Okay, I wanted to see how Nectar swatched compared to, this middle one is the REM Cheek and Lipstick in the shade Stage Mom, which I actually feel like I like better than I like Nectar. This one is just like almost more of like a warm brown. And then this is Nectar in the Daniel Sandler, which This looks really light and peach, but I actually really enjoy this blush. I also want to see how these compare to the Fenty Cheeks Out in the shade Fenty Glow, just as we're swatching neutral blushes. Okay. Fenty Glow is actually pretty similar to Stage Mom. I'm gonna swatch those. Oh, but it's definitely, okay. I actually feel like I might surprise myself in this, and I actually think I'm going to declutter the Flower Beauty Blush Balm in the shade Nectar. This is just not a shade that like really interests me right now, and I am just feeling overwhelmed by my makeup collection, so I don't see myself being excited to reach for that. So I actually think I'm gonna declutter the Flower Beauty Blush Balm in the shade Nectar. That being said, of those neutral swatches, I am gonna keep everything else. So the Fenty Beauty Cream Blush in the shade Fenty Glow, also the Daniel Sandler Watercolor Cheek Color, and the REM Lip and Cheek in Stage Mom. Okay, then I kind of just want to see what my bright oranges are like. So this is Danessa Myricks Bellini, and let's see how that looks next to the Say Dewy Blush in the shade Poppy. I don't really plan to declutter any of these. Okay, so Poppy is like more of like a, I keep wanting to say like a hibiscus, like it's like a coral with a bit of pink, whereas Bellini is just more like straight orange. I'm curious how this one swatches next to. Okay, those are different. That's different. That is different. Okay, this again is the Makeup Revolution Dewy Liquid Blush in, what is this in? I don't know what shade this is. Liquid Blush, Fake the Flush. Okay, I'm not sure what shade this is in. What else? Okay, so that was the Say, okay, let's see what Rare Beauty Joy looks like compared to these. Ooh, I need to pull Joy back out. That is Joy, right? Yes. Ooh, that is kind of like between these two shades, where it is like more orangey than the Say, but more pink than the Danessa Myricks. Okay, so then I'm like super excited to reach for all of these this summer, because this is just like the shade that I feel like I am feeling right now. Next we have the Patrick Ta Duo, and do I really need to keep the Patrick Ta Duo? Okay, the Patrick Ta Duo looks like, by the way, this is in the shade Do We Know Her. This is pretty, and I do like this cream formula, but it does look pretty similar to, what was this middle one? Was it the Say? Okay. Or is it closer to the Super Dewy? Let's see. The Super Dewy I feel like is going on like a little bit patchy. Okay, those are similar-ish, but not like, those are similar-ish, but still not like the same. I would maybe, I feel like I prefer this formula, plus it is a duo. I would maybe, why am I struggling so much? I'm gonna keep this, but I actually am gonna declutter this. It keeps swatching patchy. I'm gonna declutter this. Okay, and I totally missed swatching the Huda Coral Cutie, which there is Coral Cutie. What is this most similar to? Maybe the Say? Let's see. Not that it matters, because I do want to keep all of them. Okay, I feel good about getting rid of the Super Dewy, but I'm going to keep everything else. And actually, I just really quick want to swatch. Ooh, gosh, can you tell that this is getting old? This is the Natasha Denona Love Cheek Duo. Oh gosh. Yep, that is drying out. Gross. Okay. I do really like the highlighter in this though. There's what that looks like. Do I like the highlighter enough to keep this? Like, do I care? Should I get rid of this? Because on the cheeks, this has like a shift to it. The shift is really pretty, but I have so many other pink highlights in my collection. Am I gonna regret it if I get rid of it? I think I might also get rid of this just because like that's disgusting. Like that is dried out. That is really pretty, but I'm gonna get rid of this. I'm gonna declutter that as well. And then I wanna see what the MAC Cheer Up Glow Play swatch is like. Okay, that is definitely more muted. Ooh, that's really pretty. Not really similar to any of these, but I do really like that. Okay, so of my like brighter blushes, I'm gonna get rid of the Natasha Denona Love Cheek Duo. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna be so sad to like get rid of that, but you know what, who cares? It's not, I don't. And then I'm gonna get rid of the Flower Beauty Blush Bomb in Nectar and the Makeup Revolution Super Dewy Liquid Blush. I probably should have swatched Fenty Beauty Strawberry Drip alongside these. This one is definitely more like of a pinky shade. Kind of actually reminds me of, not that it really matters, no, probably closer to Patrick Ta Do We Know Her, but definitely more pink. I love this anyway, so that would be, I would be keeping that anyway. Okay, next let's move into like these more like ready sort of shades. So I have this one from Mob Beauty. I got this in a lucky bag, and I don't really know that I want to keep this one just because I haven't really felt like testing it, even though it's been in my collection. So like, do I really need to keep it? Here's Ilia Dreamer, which I just have not felt inspired by this sort of shade or like to reach for that either. And then we have Rare Beauty Love, which is a really beautiful kind of brick terracotta, like orangey red, but also just like not a blush shade that I am really reaching for really ever. Let me see how this swatches. Not well at all. This is from the Natasha Denona My Dream, and it's a very, that's not similar at all. Okay, what about this Merit one? Is this is in the shade Beverly Hills, and that's really not too similar either. I also have the Natasha Denona Love Glow palette, and this shade, okay, that's definitely more of like a mauvey pink. You know, I just do not feel like I'm into a shade like any of these three anymore. So I actually am going to declutter the Mob Beauty Blush, Ilia Dreamer, as well as Rare Beauty Love. This is just, my preferences have changed, and I just do not see myself reaching for this shade of blush. Like, this just does not get me excited to even look at and think about putting on my cheeks. So I am going to declutter all three of these. Okay, then I have my pinks, which here is Fenty Petal Poppin', which is a really beautiful pink shade, as you can see. Then I have this one from ColourPop, which is actually a little bit brighter, kind of. A little bit more red toned. It's pretty. This is the ColourPop, I don't know what shade it is. It has worn off. I'm like, do I need this? This is also just not really a shade that like, but it is pretty. Okay, let me swatch Merit Beauty Beverly Hills again, which is a really beautiful neutral. Okay, I love that. Let me swatch Makeup by Mario Earthy Pink, which this is like deeper than I typically like, but I definitely would prefer something like this over the shades that I did decide to declutter, those like the Rare Beauty and the Mob Beauty. This I'll definitely be keeping. I'm wondering how similar this shade from the Natasha Denona is to that. Not very small. I'm like, do I really need this Natasha Denona face palette anymore? Probably not, to be honest. Although, okay, I think I'm gonna actually make the decision to declutter the Natasha Denona Love Glow Cheek Palette as well. I feel like I can give this to my daughter and she will love this and have a hoot and holler and great time with it, but I'm gonna declutter that. I think I actually will keep that one from ColourPop at least. Well, do I? Or is it like... No, I think I'm gonna declutter that as well. I'm feeling overwhelmed from my blush collection. That's gonna go. Okay. Feeling good about this. Keeping Makeup by Mario Earthy Pink, Fenty Beauty Powder Poppin', and Merit Beverly Hills. I also am not going to be decluttering the Natasha Denona Cheek Highlight. I was just curious, like, is this, which by the way, this just does not swatch well at, oh, there it goes. There it goes. Oh, that's pretty. How similar is that to this? Okay, no, that's more brown. Okay. And then I also have Merit Beauty Raspberry Sorbet, which is more of like a berry tone shade, but I don't really have anything like this. And I do really think that's a beautiful shade. Not something I'd reach for that frequently, but I do want to keep that in my collection. And then I have, actually I'm going to swatch it over here because I want to compare it to Charlotte Tilbury Pink Gasm. This is Bite Beauty Daycation, and here it is next to Charlotte Tilbury Pink Gasm, which those two are similar, but both are really beautiful, and I like both of the formulas, so definitely keeping those. Definitely keeping all the rest of these. Cream blushes, I'm just actually, I was only expecting myself to get rid of like 2 cream blushes, but I have 6 plus a duo and a face palette, so that feels great. Okay, now on to the more challenging portion, which is my powder blushes. Okay, here are all of my like nude or like very neutral leaning blushes. Of these, I'm definitely not going to be getting rid of my Charlotte Tilbury Cheek to Chic in Pillow Talk Intense. I don't think I'll get rid of that. I don't think I'll get rid of that. I don't want to get rid of Vive Piazza. Sorry to blind you there. I might get rid of Kylie Cosmetics Close to Perfect. I'm also thinking about getting rid of my Jouer Blush Duo. I'm not going to get rid of Buxom Seychelles. I don't know why I would even like say that that would be a possibility. Definitely not. And then let's just quickly swatch MAC Warm Soul next to that. I'm just curious. Okay, they are very different. Okay, those two are staying. And then how is, I mean, this is a very pigmented nude blush. Yeah, that's also different. Okay, I feel like my hand is getting a bit stained. Okay, here we have, I feel like these are like ever on my chopping block. Here is Becca Songbird, which, what is this most similar to? Let me just swatch it. No. No. Okay, it's not. And then we also have Becca Wild Honey, which looks like so. Okay. I like always really struggle. Like, I always think I want to keep Wild Honey over Songbird, but now looking at them, I'm like, I still don't know that I could get rid of either of these right now. They're both gonna stay. Okay, let's swatch Kylie Close to Perfect, which I do like this blush, but it's, I feel like getting like really dry. That's really close to, it's also pretty close to MAC Warm Soul, but MAC Warm Soul has a bit of a sheen to it, which I definitely like a glowier blush, and this is totally matte. So I'm gonna get rid of Kylie Close to Perfect. And then we have the Jouer Blush Duo. This is in Adore Me, the Adore Blush Duo in Adore Me and Hold Me. So we have Adore Me right here and Hold Me, oh boy. Hold Me right there. Is Hold Me really similar to, hold on. Okay, Adore Me, which is, well, is that Adore Me? Hold Me. Hold Me is actually relatively close to MAC Warm Soul, and I definitely reach into this for Adore Me, or sorry, Hold Me, and not really Adore Me. So I think, am I gonna regret that? I'm also just curious about how close Hold Me is. That almost looks like a highlight. I'm curious as to how close it is to Buxom. Okay, this one's significantly lighter. But then again, let me swatch MAC Warm Soul. Okay, I like MAC Warm Soul better than Hold Me. I'm gonna get rid of this duo as well. Okay, here we go, decluttering things. Okay, I was just looking through my collection and I actually do not have a lot of like peachy coral blush shades, which is like a blush shade that, and now I'm like, no girl, do not go buy all the peachy coral blush shades. Shoot, this is bubbled, ignore that. Really? This is all I have? I do have face palettes, which have a lot of like coral blush shades, and I will say I don't plan to declutter any of my other face palettes. I had only pulled them so that if there was something I was considering decluttering, I could kind of see how it swatched next to something, but I don't see myself decluttering any of my peachy coral blush shades. I really like all of them. So here is, and I know my hand is like definitely getting stained, there is Persona Georgia. Then I have this one from Vive, which is in Sorbet, which is a really bright, beautiful shade, perfect for kind of what I'm feeling this time of year. And then we have this one from Kosas. This is in the shade Papaya, which mine is very crumbly, but all three of these are quite different, and I really enjoy all three of these, so I will be keeping all three. I just realized I was out of frame for that whole thing. Okay, this is Persona Georgia. This is Vive Sorbet, and then this one is Kosas Papaya. All three very different, and I enjoy all three of them, so they will all be staying. Okay, before we move on to like pinks, I have a few blushes in my collection that are pretty unique. I don't think I'll get rid of any of these. This is from LH Cosmetics. It is a duo, and they're these really beautiful sort of like mauve-y shades that both have more of a satin finish, so they're definitely glowier, which I really like. I also do have Persona Bubble, which is very unique to my collection. I have this one from Huda Beauty. This is in the shade Berry Juicy. I don't have a lot of berry shades, so that will stay. I have this one from Melt. This is the Raw Honey blush duo. And then I have this one from Nabla in the shade Independence. I want to swatch Independence next to this one from Melt. Okay, those are very different, but that one from Melt, I really like. Do I? Oh, maybe? Is it time to get rid of Melt Raw Honey? It might be. I really enjoyed Raw Honey at one point in time, but let me swatch them both like mixed. Yeah, I think I'm ready to get rid of Melt Raw Honey. Am I? I was not expecting that, am I? Ooh. Yeah, I think I am. I just don't see myself using that anymore. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of Melt Raw Honey. I'm ready to let go. Okay, the rest I will keep. All right, you guys, and then here are the rest of my single blushes, which I will tell you right off the bat, this is not going anywhere. This is Nabla Truth. I absolutely love Nabla Truth, especially layered with, there it is. It's a very glowy blush, but I love it. Layered with Lawless Angel Suede. These two, I just, oh my gosh, I love both of them. So those are definitely staying. This one from Nabla is in the shade Lola. And this, I think I'm going to absolutely love this summer because it is more of like a bright, almost like watermelon sort of shade. It's really beautiful and glowy as well. And this is just like what I am going for these days. So I want to swatch, something I'm considering decluttering is this one from Honest Beauty. This is in the shade Foxy. And it's this, okay, that's really pretty though. But let me swatch. Okay, that actually is really pretty. That's more of like a bright shimmery coral. Okay, maybe I do need to keep that. Let me swatch it next to Kiss of Copper. Okay, those are different. Okay. Okay, might have to keep Foxy. I'm gonna swatch Kiss of Pink. Which I'm definitely keeping. Why am I like suddenly feeling like Kiss of Copper? I like love that. I just need to pull that out and use it. Okay, so I actually am gonna keep Honest Foxy because I actually think that will be, this is just like glistening and I just love the shade Truth. Anyway, okay, keeping everything I just swatched. What do we still have left? I have this one from Ciate that I used to love, but I just don't know if I'm loving this shade anymore. This is in the shade Date Night, but then I swatch it and I'm like, ugh. I think I do actually still want that. Yeah, that's really pretty. Actually, that has a glow to it, which y'all know I love. Okay, let me swatch the top of this from Kosas, which I'm keeping this Kosas trio no matter what, but I want to see how similar that is to this blush from Physicians Formula. Okay. The Physicians is definitely more baby peach or baby pink, whereas that is more peach. I feel like I do like both. Okay, keeping both. I actually have decluttered more than I expected to, but we know how much I love Makeup by Mario Desert Rose. So pretty. Okay. We have Becca Flower Child, which, do I have a swatchable finger? Not really. There's Becca Flower Child, which I couldn't get myself to declutter. No, I just couldn't. But now I'm going back and I'm like, do I really need Songbird? Ooh, I want to swatch. Okay, I want to swatch this one from Honest Beauty next to, that is super pretty, next to Wild Honey. It's not going to be similar to, but I just kind of want to swatch Wild Honey again. Okay, and then also going back in with Buxom Wanderlust next to Wild Honey. Okay. I feel like I can declutter Wild Honey because if I'm reaching for a blush, this is definitely the nude blush I'm reaching for over Wild Honey. So I think I am finally ready to say goodbye to Wild Honey, but I want to see how Songbird swatches. Okay, those are different. Wait, was that Wild Honey? No, that was Songbird. Okay, those are different. Okay, I want to see how Songbird swatches. Just for curiosity's sake, I'm curious how Songbird swatches next to, oh, they are different. And what shade is that? That is Montezuma. But now this is similar to Foxy. Okay, decluttering Wild Honey. That is where we got in all of that swatching. And then this one is new to me, this one from RMS. This is in the shade French Rosé. And I don't think it's gonna be similar to, no, it's definitely not going to be at all. Okay, this, I didn't love it the first, oh, but I'm gonna keep that. That is very unique to my collection. Okay, of all that we decided is I'm getting rid of Becca Wild Honey. Okay, you guys, before I did my final wrap up, I went to swatch my NARS face palette. This is the Heartbreaker. I got this years ago, and this has the shades Luster, Orgasm, and Amore in it. These are so old and they are definitely super dry and super chalky. I really do want to keep this packaging though, because I feel like I could like depot these and then like I can use this for repressing just because I love the packaging on this. But I am going to be decluttering the 3 of these from my collection because they just do not perform anymore. And from that very chaotic blush swatch party, we are getting rid of 2 blush duos, a blush trio, a face palette, and then 2 powder blushes, as well as 6 cream blushes. So 12 products in total will be leaving my collection just from like my blush collection alone, which feels really good. It feels a little bit more manageable. I still have so much blush in my collection and really should go on a blush either ban or blush buying ban or a very, very, very low blush buy for the rest of the year. But I'm feeling good about this. I'm feeling good that at least I got rid of a few things, and that is going to wrap it up for today's blush swatch party and declutter. I hope that you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much for sticking around to watch. Let me know if there's anything else you feel like I should have decluttered from this video. I would love your guys' feedback and opinions. There are a few blushes that I think I missed swatching, but oh well, it is what it is at this point in time. They wouldn't have been blushes that I would have decluttered anyway, but I would love to know if you've recently decluttered any blushes from your collection and which ones they were. Other than that, thank you guys so much for sticking around to watch today's video and for supporting my channel and me, as you guys always do. I love you guys so much, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye.